Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Think about every poor decision you've made in your life.
Gosh.
There was more emotion that was involved in it than there was mind. Every single one of them. Think about it.
Really was.
Your feelings keep you in bed. Your mind tells you, get up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolfpack Show for another great episode. We are here with Orlando Cardenas and with Aaron Lee, myself, Eddie Mendoza. We have a great show for you today. Something that's going to kind of hit home with a lot of people, I think, and that's going to be having a strong mindset. What is it that you need in order to have a strong mindset? I wouldn't guess just as a male, but of course we're going to take the male perspective, but as in general, what are some of the things that you have?
Well, so having a strong mindset, what people they fail to understand is that the mindset is everything. Okay, I can literally tell myself right now I'm sick, I'm depressed, I'm hurting or whatever, and my body will follow whatever it is that I'm telling my mind. So we're going to go over a few little tips. Little life hacks, if you may, or if you will, that kind of, go over how to have a strong mindset. Because if you want to be successful in anything, whether it's at school, at home, you want to have a strong relationship, you want to have a strong business, having a strong mindset, of course, it goes hand in hand with success, period.
Right.
Okay. So first of all, what are some of the key points or one of the things you notice when you're looking for someone who has a strong mindset? Okay. One, someone who has a strong mindset is going to be able to move on from setbacks fairly easily. For example, I know, let's say, for example, you had a flat tire today, okay? That flat tire could ruin your whole day, right? But if you just say, you know what, I'm not going to let it bother me, it's just another obstacle, I'm going to move on from that. Well, then you choose to do so, and you're pretty successful.
I think maybe in that point, instead of being all like, because, good example too, you control kind of how you feel. So you wake up in the morning, you hit your foot on the bed, and shit just starts going south. Stuff's gonna go south all the way through your whole entire day.
Yeah, because a lot of people tell themselves, "Oh, it's gonna be one of those days."
Yeah. Exactly. So to sit and really stop for a second. What I always try to do is sit and stop for a second and try to really think about what I'm grateful for.
Amen.
And that kind of changes my whole perspective.
Okay, right? And that's good, because a lot of times the good far outweighs the bad. Right. But because the bad is fresh on the mind. Of course, the second you start labeling your day, it's going to be bad, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, well, shit starts happening. And then you're literally focused like with a microscopic level, where you're just checking everything out. Oh, see, I knew it was going to be a bad day. Oh, see, this is happening now too. So, again, being able to move on from setbacks quickly, that is one of the things that you look for when you talk about someone who has a strong mindset. Yeah. Hey, Eddie, remember the other day when they busted my windshield or my window?
Yeah, your window.
So quick story. Eddie and I were coming out. We're gonna get ready to go to work. We're walking out to the garage in the morning, and lo and behold, someone busted my truck window to get in there. Now, they didn't steal anything but my Bible, which, hey, if you're the guy that broke into my truck, I hope you read that Bible. I hope it helps you out. That's probably the best thing you could ever steal. I would have given it to you if you would have asked for it, but hey, the way you came about it is the way you came about it. But do you remember that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then I would have just lost it. But you said, "Oh well, not today, Satan." It is what it is, and we walked in. I was just like, "Wow, that's something that I've struggled with. Trying to overcome obstacles that have come into my life."
Yeah, because you're pretty upset about that too. Eddie was really pissed off.
It wasn't even my truck, but I was upset about it because I thought, "Wow, how shitty is that you have to wake up to something like that, and it sucks to have to do that." But no, you were just like, not today, Satan. Let's just clean it up, get it cleaned up, and let's head on in. So I was like,
that's good, man.
Wow. I was like, oh, okay, and
that's awesome.
That actually, I was floored by all that.
Yeah,
because I would have acted the complete opposite.
See, and old me would have been the same way. And I know I've seen Aaron come through some stuff that was like, okay, this is my guy right here, because things have happened in to you, and I won't be specific, but things have happened to you, and all of a sudden I see him shake it off. I'm like, this is why we get along so well, because we have that capability. We all have it. We just don't always choose to employ it, right? But I've seen you choose to just say, you know what, fuck it. It is what it is, and just move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, the next one would be you embrace change and accept new challenges.
Yes. I think when you accept change and embrace new challenges, it makes you stronger just as an individual, as a human being. Just like if you were to go work out. If you go work out, you lift weights, it's going to make your muscles stronger.
Sure.
You have to go through some shit in order to be stronger.
Absolutely.
So I think just like myself, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life that I've taken little tidbits from and learned how to just move past a lot of things. So I think the things that I've endured in my life, my personal life especially, has helped me to become a stronger person.
Well, it goes back to that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I know it sounds cliche, and I've used it the last time too, but it's the truth. I mean, did you die?
Yeah.
That type of mindset. Like, did you die? You got to move on. You got to keep going.
I feel like change is the hardest thing to accept, bro. Because when we're stuck in our comfort zones, we feel very comfortable. We're just, everything's fine. We're comfortable. We're safe. We feel safe.
Yeah.
And in changing, getting past that hump is where the real growth begins and starts.
For sure.
Right?
I like to say that the lesson is in the struggle, right?
Yes.
Now, you can choose to stay in the struggle, or you can use the struggle to make you stronger and to learn from it.
It's hard, dude. It's so hard. I mean, I'm going through stuff right now where I'm stuck in a comfort zone. I need to probably get out of it.
Yeah.
And doing that it's hard. I think it happens to all of us, but moving past that comfort zone and getting into that other edge is where, like I said, is where the growth is. And every single time I've actually, and I don't know why I don't think about it, every time I get out of that comfort zone and move on to something else that seems like it may not work, or it's risky with money, with business, it always ends up working out for the better.
Yeah, because, okay, here's the thing. Opportunity knocks once for some people, right?
Yeah.
For people that are out there listening for the door, listening for the knock, it's going to happen. But it doesn't, the door, look, we all have this, we all come from the same background. We all have the same amount of opportunities. The only difference between you, me, and Eddie is that maybe I take more chances. I've accepted the change, or maybe you've accepted more changes than I have, or whatever. And he's like, okay, this is out of my comfort zone, but I've researched it enough to know that it's going to go well if I proceed with it. And then you go in there with full faith, knowing, first of all, your faith in God, knowing that he's got it, situated for you. But second of all, going in full faith, knowing your God-given abilities to be able to do that. Again, like you said, it is hard because your comfort level is, they don't call it comfortable for nothing,
Right.
But once you accept the fact that, things have to change for the better, or for me to level up, because there's always a lot of turmoil, a lot of bullshit before the next level, right? Before the level up.
Oh yeah.
Because then not everybody will level up. It wouldn't be the way. It would just be the thing for everyone's doing. So right before the level up, there's always some kind of conflict. At least I've known that for myself, and I know we talked.
The devil works the hardest before you actually. He's trying to stop you from getting time.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want you to succeed, because if we succeed, we're happy. Our faith in God is glaring. It's going full force. Yeah, we do question our faith sometimes when things are going bad, but if we're able to accept change and move on quickly, then we're in a better place than we were before.
Well, I know, like, for me, since we've gotten a lot closer, I've gotten a lot closer to you
we've
guys.
gotten really close.
We've gotten real close, and man, you've challenged me to come out of my comfort zone, i.e., being here on this podcast. That was something I would think about, back in the day, but never really thought I could actually do it. I'd be like, no, that's far-fetched.
Okay, I'm gonna pause you right there for a second. So when we did that first radio show, okay, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but it was kind of like on the fly type of deal. I was doing the radio show, and I needed some fillers, because we were down some hosts, and so I asked my brothers here to jump in, because we always had good conversation. Well, I remember Eddie was sweating up a storm.
I was.
But if you look at him now, there's more pressure on him now. And he was like, well, what am I going to talk about? Like, what do I do? Like, I've never done this shit before. How do you make it look so natural?
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, it's like, what do I do with my hands? Yeah, Ricky Bobby. And he's like, I said, just be yourself, And again, remember, he was fucking sweating up a storm, bro.
Dude,
and he's like, how do y'all be so comfortable and this and that and the other? Just, we're comfortable in our abilities and what we do. So, but now look at him now, sitting here all cool and shit, talking.
He's the coolest.
Back.
He's the coolest one.
Yeah, he's the coolest cat in the.
So cool.
in the
Call me
litter.
culo.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, he's so cool. I'm gonna call him culo. Okay, so next one is you don't let anyone control your emotions.
Oh, that's a big one, bro.
Yeah,
That's huge. Who's gonna jump in
Man,
on that?
I think I'd like to go first on that one. I mean, Man, dude. Jeez.
Now,
I'm probably the
we're
most.
talking about anyone but Jack Daniels.
I'm probably the
you
most
know?
hot-headed one here. I'm
A little bit.
I'm sure.
Just a test.
Can we count back to the times that I've done shit? Well,
I
you and
don't
I have
have
just
that.
been friends, bro.
Well,
Yeah, we're only on here for an
I don't
hour.
have that.
Aaron, so-
Ripping off-
This is only a 1 hour
ripping
segment.
off ripping off my shirt and shit. Yeah,
he
so
literally
that's
did
a big one, and and I'm guilty of that, definitely. And that's one thing that's probably one of my biggest faults. I definitely need to work on is that all the way across the board. Just somebody doing something or saying, but man, there's just times that some people are just talking so much shit.
man,
They just need to be put in their place, man. And it's hard to not
especially
let
with
them
social
not
media.
control you. Dude.
Yeah, especially with social media. Like right now, all those cowboy haters. I promise
my
you, they would
God.
not be hating on my Cowboys that much and that loud. If they were right in my face.
Oh,
'Cause
no.
I'd knock a hater out
Yeah,
right
I
now.
think I would
But you know
too,
what? No, honestly, back in my day, we're about 10 years apart or so. Back in my, I was a
12.
hothead too. Yeah, 12. Yeah, thanks for fucking adding it up, bastard. But anyways, 12 years apart. Okay, I've got 12 years of wisdom on this man. Trust me, it doesn't get easier, but it does get to the point where you say to yourself, I have nothing to prove to anybody. I'm not going to let that person control me. Because honestly, when we lose control of our emotions, we literally surrender that to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
I literally, like, if Eddie pissed me off right now and I went off on him, it's like giving Eddie the key to my heart, my mind, my body, and saying, "Here, Eddie, I'm giving it up to you because I'm about to lose it with you."
Right,
But as you get older, you start to realize it's not worth it. Because tomorrow I'm gonna have to come back and say, okay, damage control. I'm done with the damage control.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to lose it now, it's after I've calculated everything, I've added everything up, I've cashed all the checks, deposited everything, and I'm good. The balance is good, and I don't give a fuck whether you like it or not. I'm gonna go off on you, right? But it takes a lot to get me to that point. I'm not a hothead like I used to, because I really was. Back in the day, I was.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it was a little reversed. Growing up, I was a real passive kid. And it probably wasn't till I hit 40. I'm 47 now.
No, you're not.
That I kind of got a short fuse. I'm not necessarily I'm not a violent person. I never have been, but it's crossed my mind more in the past 7 years than it ever did my entire life, even as a kid. And I, growing up in the hood, people, I got into little scuffles here and there, and it wasn't really anything to, I didn't really think it was that big a deal, because I really wasn't mad. You were just being,
You stand your ground.
Just a little fucking kid, little travieso.
Mm-hmm.
But, now, I'm thinking my grumpiness of my old man.
Yeah, you
ways
sure are
I-
getting grumpy.
Yes.
So I've always thought that when someone controlled my emotions, again, they have full control about me or over me, and I don't let that happen anymore. Like we talked about, I'm at that age where now it's me and what I think, and as long as it doesn't bother anybody or hurt anybody's feelings or screw up anybody's life, I'm gonna go on with me. That's just the mindset I have. So the next one that I have is you're kind, fair, and not afraid to speak up.
And that's something that I've always had trouble with.
Which
well,
part?
no, actually, well, not until I turned 40.
Because you're a kind and fair person.
Yeah, but
you both are.
Yeah, but speaking up was always one of my downfalls because
in your own asshole way. Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, I mean,
Not
see,
talking
that was
about
a thing
that.
though. Oh, you.
Yeah. I disagree with that, but
I mean, it's been probably in the past 7 years that I've really done that. I really hadn't been doing that up until I hit 40.
But which part? The speaking up part?
The
or
speaking up part, yeah, because like I said, I was super passive, growing up and into my 20s, and man, I just tried not to do a lot of stupid shit, but I did anyway. But I never really spoke up when I needed to, and I think that comes from the type of upbringing, the stuff that I went through as a kid, and that sort of thing. It made me that type of person. But then, like I said, when I hit 40, man, I was like, I don't give a
You're
fuck.
an ornery ass.
Yeah, my ornery ass
40-year-old,
really
yeah.
said, I'll tell you what the fuck I think.
I feel like the kindness part is like a borderline to meekness, man. And meekness is weakness. See,
that's 12-year-old younger than me kicking it right there.
I get it. I get it being kind to other people, and I get it like doing that. But a strong mindset, man, you got to know the difference between being fucking pushed over and like the latter part of it.
Here's the thing. Here's where, and this is where the separation in generation, or the generation gap is. People mistake kindness and meekness for weakness. Okay, and in the Bible does not say that a kind person is weak. As a matter of fact, a kind person, okay, if you're going to defend somebody and stand up for somebody, it's because you feel something that person's feeling, like a hurt, right? And for you to stand up for them means you don't want them to feel that pain anymore. So when it comes to a strong mindset where it talks about standing up for somebody and being kind, it means being the one that when everybody else is sitting there and laughing because homeboy fell down, or because he's having a hard time with the bills, or for example, today when I went to Bill Miller's and there was a couple there, and I mean, you can tell they were down and out, right? I could have easily been the kind person, because a lot of times we also mistake kindness for being an asshole. Okay, not to say you're an asshole, because I know you're a big-hearted guy, but we're not pushovers by any means. Don't mistake my kindness for a weakness.
Right.
Don't get me twisted, right? But you see these people, and you see a whole line of people, and I was telling somebody earlier, like, how can people just sit there and not notice that those people are struggling, right?
Well, they choose to
In
not
what
know.
way were they struggling? What are you talking about?
They're sitting there outside of a restaurant, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. I can tell when someone's high or drunk, or down and out because of their own personal vices. Which, even if they were, and if I have a few extra bucks, I'm not. I mean, God's not going to judge me on
No.
base. He's not going to judge my actions based on what they do.
That's not between you and them. It's between them and God.
Yeah. So I have a hard time looking at people and just saying, okay, I'm gonna look this way, turn the other cheek, because I am a kind person.
Yeah, no.
But you guys know me. I'm hard as fuck. You're not gonna sway me when I make up my mind. Especially if it has to do with the better of me and my family, and my business and things like that, right? So to me, it's kindness is, again, that's where we get it. There's a little gray area there.
No, I agree with that as kindness.
Yeah,
Now
I was gonna say,
stupidity is something different.
Absolutely. I agree with that as kindness.
Trust me. If someone's doing something to you, I'll be the first one. If I'm standing there, I'll be the first one like, hey, you gonna let this motherfucker get away with that?
Yeah.
Because I'm not. That's just me, and y'all know me.
Right.
But when it comes to actual flat out kindness, biblical kindness, it's more of a I'm a protector, because a true alpha is a protector.
Yeah,
he
sure,
looks out for the
sure.
weak person in the
He
group.
looks out for his kingdom.
Yeah, for sure. So again, kindness, and then not being afraid to speak up. Like you said before, there's times I'm an introvert by nature. I have to really.
No.
I know.
What?
It seems like I'm
I
not,
don't
but
believe
I
that.
really am.
I don't
I'm
believe
like
that.
a fucking.
I wouldn't bet money on that.
I like
Nope.
being by myself. I enjoy my quiet time. I'm a nerd. I love to read. I love to get lost in my own thoughts. But I have to force myself to speak up and to get out there, and it just became second nature. As a boss, as a someone that's trying to influence other people, a mentor, things like that. As a dad, I can't sit back and let shit happen. I gotta make shit happen.
Yeah.
Right. I'm an influencer. That's what an influencer does. So I have no problem doing that, but other people do. So one of the characteristics of someone with a strong mindset is being able to say, hey, wait a minute, this is not gonna happen, or it's not gonna go without me saying something about it. Right. So.
Yeah. So I think that when you allow people to step on you and to be a pushover, because I think that's what you mean
meekness.
by
Yeah, that's
meekness.
meekness,
To allow people to do that to you. It's
That's not
very
a strong.
meek.
That's not a strong mindset.
And see, though,
No, not at all.
and so,
That's different.
and so growing up, I was bullied a lot as a kid, and because of my physique.
We still bully you.
Or my lack of physique.
as a child.
I still bully you.
But here's
Yeah, I
the thing,
know.
though. But you know what? Look out, because when this fucking grizzly bear, when I've seen big guys like that, trust me, I've seen big guys that they're super quiet, and that's a strong mindset in itself. Looking at somebody and say, you know what? In other words, if this bear got out of the cage, I will tear your ass from limb to limb. Just because you're louder doesn't mean you're stronger. Right. And I've seen people like that where they are like being pushed and pushed and pushed, and finally that guy snaps. Man, I don't want to be in the room when that happens. Trust me, I remove myself from that, because I know that someone has an ass whooping coming to them, and they're gonna get it regardless of what they feel mentally. Physically is gonna come across.
Like, I remember watching, remember that part in the Christmas Story where he beats up that little kid, freaking, and he starts doing that, pounding. Yeah. I saw myself like that as that kid, as a kid, was like, one day it's just gonna happen.
Well, okay, and I see you. Have you seen The Blind Side?
Yes.
The Michael Orr movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's the scene in the movie where Michael Orr is like, I guess, a crack house or something, and they're talking, and the guys keep talking shit to him, talking, and finally this guy goes berserk and he wrecks not only the room but everybody in it. I mean, but he spares the nice guy. You know, he still has that kindness in him to spare the friend. He had one friend in that room,
Right.
and he spared that guy, but everybody else got the living crap beat out of them. And it goes to show the protector that he was, you know, as having a strong mindset. Because I mean, look at all the stuff he went through to be able to come through all that and still spare one person. That was pretty fucking rad to me. I think so.
The Wolfpack Show.
I know the difference between, you know, fucking around and somebody being actually serious about what they're saying.
Sure.
You know, I know the difference. So I think that's helped me a lot. But that's also saved a lot of motherfuckers too.
Yeah. Well, see, and there is a difference too. When, you know, my mom always said, when someone's telling you for your own good, listen. But when they're telling you for their own good, that's manipulation. That's when someone's trying to take advantage of you.
Right.
So there's a difference. There's a fine line, you know, when it comes to trying to help somebody out and just trying to belittle somebody just for the sake of it. You know, I know we're really hard on each other. So for you guys that don't know this about the Wolfpack, the Wolfpack's hard on each other. I fuck with Aaron, and I get on Eddie's case, and they get on my case about different stuff. We get on our producer's case, they get on ours. It's a big family, and if you guys know your family, I mean, for those of you that are blessed enough to have a family, you're hard on each other. You know, you coach people through stuff. You know, it's tough love. It's not always going to be what you want to hear, but most of the times it's going to be what you need to hear.
I know, and I think that's what it is. That's what makes us such a good group. Is you know, we tell it like it is, and I think that's real love. You know, that's real love. That's, you know, you want that person to be better. You know, you want that person to become a better person. And I think, you know, trust me, the things that you guys have told me resonate in my head a lot, to the point where I'm kind of like, wow, I'm mad because I didn't want to hear the truth. Basically, is all that is.
The truth hurts. I know.
The truth
I've been
hurts.
there, yeah.
So, but it's actually, it resonates. It doesn't just, I don't just go, oh, they're stupid, to hell with them. It actually means something when you guys say something to me. You know, when you're dealing with friends, family, that you have to have a strong mindset is to be able to tell those people that you love the truth.
And not only tell them, but take it too. You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of times we don't want to hear the truth.
Oh,
You
no.
know, who does? But we always want to believe that we are the master of our domain. And for the most part, we are, right? But there is sometimes that someone needs to say, hey, you know what? Your slip is showing, or, you know, this is out of line, or that's out of place, right? So, you know, again, it's give and take type of deal, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're willing to take calculated risk.
Okay, I love that one.
How much? Do you
Because
love it?
I'm the king of taking risks, bro. Sometimes, actually, you know what though? I don't think it's ever not worked in my favor.
Okay.
I've done some shit where, dude, business wise, especially, it's always seemed to work out for me. I've always hit my target every single time. If not, by God's grace, I've been able to get out of it somehow and at least break even. So, definitely taking calculated risks, is having a strong mindset. Now, I'm the type of person that I don't, you know, I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs, and they'll sit through, and like you were talking about doing research, they'll sit there and do the research before they actually make the move. I'm more of kind of a gut feeling type of guy.
Sure. I've banked on a lot of things like that, gut feeling wise.
And it's, like I said, it's worked out by God's grace. You know, at least I broke even. So
See, and that's the thing is that, again, it's a calculated risk. Who do you have faith in first and foremost, right? When I do something, I have faith in God. You know, it's like, okay, God, if it's for me, the opportunities present itself. I pray for opportunities every day.
Right.
So when an opportunity presents itself, I look at it and I say, okay, this is a blessing. You know, if I can afford to jump into it, if it's something, first of all, for me, it's more time. If I can afford to invest the time into it, then I will, right? But if it's not, well, then it wouldn't have presented itself to me, right? Yeah. So I'm really big because it is a blessing to turn around and say, hey, look, hey guys, I like doing work with you. I like doing business with you. Let's get in on this. You know, for the most part, I've researched this, or I have a relationship with this person or that person or whatever. Then let's jump in. And you and I do stuff like that all the time. I'm trying to get Eddie to that point, and he'll get to that point eventually, to where we can, you know, say, hey, let's invest in certain things, right? Yeah. But calculated risk. I mean, it can be. Let's say, in a relationship, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to date.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
in this day and age, I can see why.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, especially at our age, you get to a point where you're like, okay, this is what's left. But there are some really good people out there, because I'm fucking single and I'm out there, right? Yeah. You know, if someone gets smart enough and snatches me up, then I'll be okay. You know, but until then, I'm single. Well, that doesn't mean I want to take calculated risk every week with all kinds of different people, because that's not who I am. But you know, when it comes to a relationship, even if you haven't been in a relationship for a long time, you got to say at one point, God didn't make me to be by myself. He two people when he created, mankind, and he gave the man the partner, right?
Yeah, I think with me, like as far as calculated risk go, I've taken a lot of risk in relationships. I wouldn't say they're exactly calculated, unless the fucking numbers were wrong every time. Just like now, I'm in a relationship right now. I took that risk. That was something that I didn't see coming. That's something that she didn't see coming. I guess right now, it's a calculated risk. It's a risk because we're still trying to get to know each other. We're still trying to get to know the ins and outs.
Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us on the Wolfpack Show. Before we move forward, I want to thank our sponsors, Bar 321 over at 321 Main in San Antonio, Texas. We want to thank them for always taking care of us and supporting the Wolfpack Show. We also want to thank Executive Transportation. Xavier Gonzalez over at Executive always takes care of us. So if you guys are looking for transportation via limo services, give them a call. So my next topic, guys. All right. So it's good. This is good stuff so far. All right. And our topic today is how to have a strong mindset. Okay. For those of you that are trying to get to the next level in either business, sports, home life, relationships, this is gonna hopefully it can help you guys a little bit. This is stuff that we use to continue to be alphas in our realms. The next one I have is you celebrate other people's success.
Yeah, and I think that being Hispanic, that's hard because you're like, well, you think you're badass now, puto?
Oh, te quiere mucho.
Yeah, like it's hard to do that in our culture. But
that's racist, bro.
That's not racist. It's the truth. It's not racist if it's the truth.
It's not racist if it's in your own race.
Yeah.
Can't believe I just heard you say that shit.
Yeah, because
what the hell's wrong with you, dude?
The Hispanic culture. We don't ever,
you said Mexican, bro.
Same thing.
I was confused.
The Spanish-speaking,
Spaniard, you're from
the
Spain.
Spanish-speaking,
you're from Mexico. How is that? I don't.
The Spanish-speaking community. Chingo. If that is,
Hey, those are
I think it's always hard. You don't ever hear congratulations. Hey, good job. You never hear that.
It depends on the circle that you're on with, because
that's true.
Okay, look. When we have a good day, something happens, if I benefit, y'all benefit. If you benefit, I benefit. So I'm a big hoorah kind of guy. Like, hey, Eddie, man, badass job, or Norma, hey, good job on this, or Randon, there's times that Randon does things, and the guy, Randon, for those of you guys that don't know, he's our videographer / creative director. He's the one that makes us look good when we don't look so great up here. But, he'll send us clips, and I'll be like, hey, dude, that's fucking badass. Like, you did a great job.
Yeah.
Because again, the guy's doing great. Without him, this show wouldn't be possible. So kudos to him, right? Or
Right.
whoever.
Yeah. So jumping in on that, one thing is and I'm sure some of our audience, especially entrepreneurs and business people, obviously vibrations, right? Affirmations, law of attraction, get into all that other stuff. When you're putting out more into the universe and your vibrations are lining up with what it is that you actually want, you're going to get that back. One of the things is acting as if other people that are succeeding and hating on them and not being congratulatory to them, all that stuff brings back those same vibes to you.
Yeah, it does.
In the universe.
I've seen it for years.
When you're there and you're celebrating other people's successes and you're authentically happy for them, those vibrations are going to come back to you. That's going to make your success go even higher.
Yeah. Well, see, and a lot of people, they hate on you because they want the life that you have. They're just not willing to do the work that you put in, right? So me, for example, I'm a hardworking guy. It's some of the things that I've done, where I've been successful in, have taken me decades to get there. But I never stopped because I knew what the outcome was going to be. So when I see someone succeeding, I don't ever call it like an overnight success, because there really is no, unless you win the lottery, and we talked about that before, there is no such thing as an overnight success, right? So I celebrate somebody because I know how hard I worked to get there. And for me, it's like, okay, dude, you did a great job. It's not conflicting with me. This world has so much to offer that, again, it's not taken out of my pocket. If anything, it's motivating me because we come from the same background. And if I come from the same background as you and I see you succeeding, then that tells me, well, shit, what's holding me back other than my own bullshit and laziness, right?
Well, I know, you're in real estate, so that's your livelihood. Like, selling homes, showing homes, that sort of thing, buying homes, that sort of thing. Do you think there's more haters in that line of work than there is? Because, you want to be as successful as the successful realtor, and so you're like, man, why does this guy do this? And I would think there would be people out there who are just hating, like, man, fuck that dude. Or
The thing is this, right? Everybody wants something for nothing, and everybody feels entitled. That's just kind of our basic human nature, right? So when it comes to realtors, they think, oh, well, I'm going to go be a realtor and make so much money and make all this money. And the thing is, they jump into the line of business, they find out that it's actually hard. It's actually work. Me, 10 years in the business, I'm still having to grind in day out and day in and day out to make money and to make sales. So it's definitely harder. I think a lot of the older realtors that are kind of already been in the business, the veterans, kind of look at the younger realtors with maybe like their noses up in the air, kind of like down at them, just because we put in our work, dude.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't want to see them succeed, because some of them are younger. They start out and they end up surpassing some of the veterans that have been in the business. But definitely, I think in any line of work, when you've already been doing it for so long and you see somebody new and young that comes in that's trying to make it, but maybe are not making all the right mistakes, right moves, and you see that they don't have, that at the forefront of, like, they're really, really trying to give in their 100%, it can make you a little bitter. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I get it. And to me, I've never allowed for bitterness in me personally, my own heart, because the things that I do, a lot of times I'm a pioneer. I'm the only one doing that, for whatever amount of time. I do things that honestly no one's ever thought about, right? But I can see it in the real estate game, because one thing about the real estate game, it's all about persona also, right? You want to sell, before you sell a house, you want to sell an image and an idea of who you may be, right? So you gotta show them this flashy successful person, because no one wants to buy a house or sell their house with the quiet guy that doesn't do anything. Like, you have to have a persona that you're a hustle person, and it's gonna get shit done for them, right? But at the end of the day, the persona doesn't really matter. What matters is answering the phone at the end of the day, right? But that kind of went off topic. But to me, honestly, it's just a matter of just continuing to hustle, to continuing to grind, and not allowing any time for that bitterness or that ugliness. Because trust me, that takes a lot of time out of your day. Sit there and watch somebody. I've known people. Trust me, I see them every day. They're trolling my shit. What's he doing now? Where's he at? Who's he with?
Yeah,
I'm worrying about me. I'm minding my own fucking business. Mind yours, and maybe you'll be
Money comes first.
Well, yeah, God first.
money
But
second,
the hustle is real for me. And maybe if you stop scrolling and looking through my life, maybe you'll get your shit together, and I can celebrate with you. Right?
Or at least come to you and ask you, hey, how did you get to this point?
For
Maybe
sure.
show me.
Yeah,
and
because
then you'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, I don't have secrets. I don't have trade secrets where I say, oh, I'm not going to tell you because it's going to take money out of my pocket. I will literally show you. I will give you the blueprint, and this is what I tell people all the time. I can show you the blueprint. I can give you the hammer. I can give you the nails. But if your ass isn't up at 4 o'clock in the morning, putting down studs and all that shit, I'm gonna eat your lunch because I'm gonna get out there first. Right? Again, you can have exactly the same thing out, and we all have the same opportunities. But if you're not out there doing it and sweating your ass off, you're not going to build a house.
Yeah. I think so. With real estate, the reason I asked is because I've known realtors who have like stopped being friends. They're those relationships just stop just due to, you said this about me, or you took this sale from me, or I've seen relationships be ruined.
I can see that.
Ruined by that.
I think that goes back to the first topic of having a strong mindset, getting over shit. Because you know what, in any industry, you're gonna have someone that's gonna say something, and I may say something to you about Aaron that Norma might overhear. Our producer Norma, and then she turns around and tells Aaron, and it might not come across the way I said it exactly. That's why you get all these little mixed feelings and stuff like that.
Shit.
Yeah. So if your mindset is strong, it doesn't matter what anyone says about you. At the end of the day, and you and I have talked about this in the past. You asked, like, being aggressive the way you are, has that ever made you lose friends? And my answer was very simple. If I lost somebody due to the fact that I'm an aggressive person and that I hustle and do what I do, then that person was never my friend from the get-go, right? So again, having a strong mindset is not caring what other people think. One, moving on from situations like that where the whole he said, she said bullshit. Being kind. You want to be kind to people because I mean, I've been called an asshole more times than I can count, which I'm cool with it. I've come to understand that maybe some people's definition of an asshole is just someone who doesn't take your crap or doesn't allow you to abuse them. Hey, if that's the case, then you can call me an asshole all day long. I just want to say that I am a champion for me and for what's right for me, my family, and for people around me. I mean, the people around me, you guys know, I'll go to town for you guys. I will throw down all day long for that. But again, my mindset is strong, and you're not going to penetrate that. You're not going to put any negative influence into my mindset.
Right. I don't think you can be a people pleaser and be as successful as you guys are.
Well, I mean, I'm not a politician, so yeah,
Well, yeah.
I definitely wouldn't,
Right. So,
be able to do that.
You can't really just say, I'm going to, just like you said, you can't be meek.
Yeah.
This is, being this successful doesn't have room for meekness. Now, granted, you can be kind, like you said, that's something completely different. But I think being meek is it doesn't have a place. It doesn't have a place in success.
Yeah.
I don't think.
See, and you know what? That okay. The whole turn the other cheek, I've always struggled with that, even at this age.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to say, oh, turn the other cheek. For what? So you can slap me on the other side? Even though the Bible says, forgive your brother 77 times 77.
Yep.
I get it. I know,
It's
Lord.
hard.
I
It's
know.
tough.
Yeah, Eddie always tells me, because I always say, Lord, forgive me. I'm about to sin. He's like, why do you say that whenever you're about to sin? I was like, because what I'm about to do, I need some grace. You know what I mean? Because, trust me, dude. I will slap a fool before he even raises his hand up to me. But for me to stand there and let someone slap me, okay, the first time, hey, you're good. Good luck. Savor the flavor, because that shit ain't gonna happen again, right? You ain't gonna get another slap on me. But I think when it comes to the meekness and then that part, like I said, I struggle because I'm not gonna just stand there and be a sitting duck. So if you catch me twice, good job. I'll actually probably applaud you for that, because it's very hard that you catch guys like us slipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I mean,
That's a tough one in the Bible for sure. That's definitely.
No, this is tough for guys like us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I'm supposed to do what? Turn it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
and a lot of people do it though. I mean, there are people out there, and
God
they're
bless them. I
they're
don't
better.
know, man.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know
they're
anybody
better
that
men
would.
than better men than me, because I know, I don't have that kind of strength. Lord knows that I've asked for it a lot of times, and I asked for that kind of grace.
But see, when you ask for strength, God's gonna send you things. How are you gonna know
Reasons
that
to be strong.
Oh yeah, how
Yeah.
are you gonna know that He gave you strength or patience or kindness or compassion if it's not tested? Like, how are you know? Like, let's say Aaron is your personal trainer, and your goal is to lift 500 pounds over your head, right? How are you gonna know that he did his job if you don't ever step up to the 500 pound weights and put them over your head? There's a test that comes to that. So me personally, I've learned in my age, in my time, to no longer ask for patience and things like that. I ask for mercy. There's times like, man,
I don't ask for nothing.
Yeah,
I don't want nothing.
There's times
Don't give me no
well,
problems.
some-
I ain't gonna ask for
okay,
nothing.
so
I don't
even
care.
in not asking, you still have to
I
ask
like
because
that.
things
That
happen,
makes
right?
sense.
But I'll say, like, Lord,
Like-
it's a lot
I
today.
ain't asking for
like
nothing.
you say you'll only give me what I can handle. I'm not gonna be able to handle anymore today. If you think I can, well then, okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna ask for more strength, because then you're gonna give me more.
That makes
tests.
a lot of sense.
So
Yeah,
I
that
say,
makes a lot of
God,
sense.
like, take it easy on me. Like, please, like, show me some mercy, please.
How does that work?
Yeah,
How does
I
that
can.
work? How does that work?
It works. Honestly, it does.
I'm gonna have
works
to
for
try
me.
that.
Yeah, for sure. Because you know what?
Lord,
Here's the
Lord,
thing.
Lord.
Look, as alpha males, and my son, he's 12 years old. I love the kid to death. He's a good boy. Him and Eddie and Jonathan, all these other guys, they love to talk shit. Brandon, to each other. They go after each other all day long. But at the end of the day, he's my son, and he's a little boy, and he wants to act like he's the toughest character in the block. And I let him. I said, okay, whatever. I'd like for him to develop his strength and his personality. I let him test all that, right? But there's days that he'll come to me and be like, okay, Dad, like, I can't do this anymore. And as a loving father, I removed that extra weight off of his plate, and I said, okay, son, you came to me in full faith, knowing that I'm your dad. I am the one that through God's graces, through God's blessings, I gave you life, him and his mom. I also am here to take that weight off of you. So when he comes to me, and I can see it in his eyes, he's like beat down, and, okay, Dad, I can't do this. I'm tired. I'm this and that. Okay, son, I got you. And I believe that, when it comes to having a strong mindset, we always want to say, oh, I got this. And God says, okay, well, you got this. Go ahead. Keep doing it. Okay, Aaron, you're a badass. Eddie, you're a badass. Orlando, I know you think you're bad. And we keep going on our path, and every single day, like, I got this. And finally, he knows there's only so much we could have stopped taking all that abuse back then. And he said, well, you're building your character. I'm gonna let you do your thing, but now, okay, you've come to me. He said, I can't no more.
I love
Give
that.
me mercy.
I love this.
Yeah,
dude.
and when he
I love
says,
that.
give me mercy, when you say, give me mercy, show me grace, God says, grace is granted, mercy is granted.
That's one of the most profound things I think I've ever heard you say, bro.
Thank you.
On some real stuff.
And it's not even me.
That's
I speak the words that I read. I mean, I read the Bible. Those words come straight from the Bible. But that's what I happen to believe, that when you come to Him, I mean, I've come to Him on my knees, like literally on my knees, begging for one more day of life. Most people don't know my story, and I'll get into that one day. But I've literally come to Him and said, just give me another day. Just give me another day to fulfill what it is that you want me to fulfill, because I know that this whole time coming up to this, I have just done whatever I wanted to do. I was wilding out. I was crazy. I was trying to get after it and make my money and this and that and the other. And I never came to you. I neglected to come to you and say, Father, here I am. What do you need from me? Right? Just like our kids are out there making their lives. And sometimes they forget to call you, and they forget to say, hey, I'm alive. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Sometimes I happen to say, well, they're out there doing theirs, right?
Yeah.
No news is bad. No news is good news, right?
Yeah. So my mommy says
so
that
I'm
all
like,
the time.
okay, now I know how my mom feels when I was out there doing, and even to this day, I
Yeah.
sometimes I got to call mama and let her know I'm okay. But when it comes to God, like I said, it's just one of those things that He's going to let us do our thing, because we haven't brought a strong mindset. But I happen to believe my strong mindset was developed when I had no choice other than to be strong.
Yeah, I think it starts with God. It does. I mean, you just proved that. I think it starts by asking for grace. And just in general, as men, we have a hard time asking for help. From anybody.
From anybody, yes.
From anybody.
Yeah.
And there have been times that you've come to me that you ask me if I need help, and I don't really realize it until you ask me. I'm kind of like, well, wait, I guess I do need help. I didn't really think about that, but being, men of God, we can sit here and go, we're men of God. We pray, we read the Bible, we do this, we do that, but we're still human, and we're still human men, that have that hard time. We have that hard shell sometimes that we can't move past, and sometimes you have to be broken in order to be stronger.
Well, and that's the thing, though. Us as like you said, as men, we were made in God's image. We were made to be perfect. Now, original sin, for those of you that don't know, is when Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden. Original sin removed us from perfection. Okay. As we go on in all these years, later, every single generation adds more and more and more sin to whatever we're doing. Even us, we just pile up crap all day long, and so we're not perfect. At no point of this conversation or any of our time of our lives are we going to say, "Oh, we're perfect." We're not here giving advice because we're perfect men. We're here because we serve a perfect God, and our perfect God understands that sometimes I cuss, sometimes I do things I'm not supposed to be doing. He understands that, just like I understand my kids are not perfect. They may be perfect to me and they can do no wrong, but there are consequences, right? But when you come to Him and you say, look, hey, but you do have to have that strong mindset to be able to say, I don't control this anymore. Like, this is beyond me, whether it's in business, personal, in a relationship. In a relationship, a lot of times that strong mindset is mistaken for, being controlling. I don't happen to believe that you should control anybody. I happen to believe you let that person do whatever they're going to do so you can see what they would rather do, right? So I don't try to control anything. I just say, you do you, boo-boo. And if that disrespects me, well, then I have a strong enough mindset to say, I'm not a part of that life, right? So, and I remove myself from that. But being a follower of Christ doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means you serve a perfect God, and you realize that I'm not going to judge this guy or that guy or those people back there. I'm not going to judge them because I'm not perfect at all. But like I said, I serve a perfect God, and I can come to Him for forgiveness. And my mindset, although as a human being is strong, is not so strong to be able to say, I don't need you.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think that we're ever going to be at the point where we're going to be okay with asking for help. I just think I don't think that's ever going to happen, in life, because I think men are just how they're made, and with this generation that's growing up now with almost with the entitlement. They're entitled to it. They forget that they have to ask for help or ask for. They just think, I need to have it now. Give it to me. I don't care how you give it to me. Just give it to me. Yeah. I don't care how I get it.
I'm gonna give it to you, but I'm gonna stamp it right here on the bottom of my foot.
No shit. That's how I feel a lot of times with kids, because they have to be able, especially young men. Young men have a real hard time with entitlement nowadays. Yeah, it's automatic. Everything's automatic.
A lot of them were raised by their mothers, unfortunately, right? Dad, whatever, father stepped away, and now they're being raised by mom and grandma and tia and everybody else. So there's not that positive male role model. And this is one of the reasons why we're here, because we know as men that there's things that our fathers lacked. We know that as fathers, there's things that we lacked with our kids, and then we know that the generations underneath us, they are looking for something too. And nothing wrong with mom raising the kids. They had no choice, and they came through like champs. I mean, they kept the roof over their heads, they kept clothing on their backs, food on the table, and they worked 1 or 2 jobs to keep doing that. Right. But unfortunately, the way the mind of a man is engineered or created, we still have to have that mindset or that someone behind us pushing us to say, hey, no. I'm not your mom. I'm not gonna clean up after you. You're gonna do your own thing. I'm not your maid. I'm not this and that. You're gonna have to keep your own, stuff together and pull your own weight, because that's what men teach men. We're hard on each other. You have the hard hand of the man, and you have the soft hand of the woman, and that makes for a perfectly balanced household. However, that doesn't happen nowadays.
Yeah, I think absent fathers really have. I've really hurt a lot of kids. I wasn't real close to my dad. I'm still not. But at the same time, it doesn't mean I don't love the man, because I do. It's just that I think had he been around more, had I had more of a male figure, I did, like my grandfathers. But then my grandparents, grandparents, you can't do anything wrong.
They adore their grandkids.
Yeah, they adore their grandkids.
Yeah, they'll do whatever for them.
Yeah, so I never, really had the strong hand. Yeah. Like you say, I was pretty much raised by my mother, and I think maybe that's what made me so meek as a kid, because nobody was saying stand up for yourself, yeah. Right? And I think that was an issue. But as my daughters, I have 2 girls who I raised that they're quite the opposite, and they always have been.
Well, because they had to learn that
life
is tough on everybody, especially for a woman.
Right.
So along the line, I'm sure your late wife taught them to be strong, because not don't rely on a man. Men, they're gonna leave you behind or whatever. So that developed the mindset. That's why we have the bad bitch nowadays, the boss bitch. Because through I have to say evolution, I guess, or through evolving as a woman of nowadays, times, they have to develop this persona of, I don't need anybody. Even though we were made to all want and need somebody, want somebody, I don't need anybody to do these things for me. That's why they have that persona of, I'm hard to love, I'm hard to handle. I'm not gonna take anybody's crap, right? And then you have the opposite side of the spectrum. Now the men are weaker. Right? The men are weaker, the women are stronger, and it doesn't vibe well, because women they're not made to have a weaker man. Women are made to have a strong man next to them, not a possessive or controlling man, but an intellectual equal, but also someone that's going to protect them, right?
Yeah. That's something that I've always instilled in my daughters, that I've always wanted them to be able to do for themselves and not have to depend on a man, but also find somebody that's going to love them and take care of them as well. So
for sure.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wolfpack Show. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. We'll leave the link down at the bottom and also on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe as well and share it.
Yeah, let people know about what we're doing here. So once again, for the Wolfpack Show, I am Orlando Cardenas.
I am Aaron Lee.
I'm Eddie Mendoza.
And we want to thank you guys for taking the time to support us. And we hope you guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you.